Hi, everyone. It's been a wild one on this Wednesday. We'll call it Wild Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a good day. Excuse me. Just got done with my dinner. Had a little bit of a gunk in the throat. But, anyways, hey, hope you're having a good day. See the camera's glitching a little bit. We had a wild day. I mean, what else could happen? We had wind gusts that were exceeding 50 miles per hour earlier this afternoon. Now the winds have shifted to the northwest. It's a lot colder. I wanted to give you a quick update on what you can expect. We do have some precipitation that's falling out there, and we can even see some light snow on some of our weather cameras. Now, here's Huntsville, our WeatherBug Network camera from Huntsville. Now, obviously, the snow isn't going to cause any impacts. It's not going to be a big deal, but let me know if you saw some winter precipitation as I give you this update here for the next 15 minutes or so. Again, what a wild system. Major, major low pressure system. There you see in some of the snowflakes that are showing up from our Huntsville WeatherBug Network camera, some light precipitation. Baseball practice was certainly interesting. Snow, sleet, rain, and wind at Kessler. Not the boys of winter precipitation. The boys of summer is what it should be. No kidding. What else can happen? It seems like, yeah, I could jinx it. There could be something else. You got snow and crosses, and that makes sense because Huntsville's right kind of on the southern end of the northern end of this snow potential. Let me show you what I'm talking about here as we look at Mega Doppler. So I am solo tonight. Josh Rugger is probably bumping around on a plane as he is flying to Providence, Rhode Island. He's going to be making his way tonight. He had to take 3 flights to get there. Of course, our Pig Trail Nation is already there. Now, here's the deal, Amanda. I have a question for you about this. You say that you had snow, sleet, and rain. Did you really have sleet, or was it maybe graupel? Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you what graupel is. I'll explain what that is. But first of all, I want to zip it on the radar, and you're going to see that precipitation definitely falling where crosses is. And that makes sense because there's definitely going to be some heavier snow in the crosses area. So we'll zoom in. There's crosses right there. There's the precipitation that's kind of popping up. And purple shade shows a little bit of heavier snowflakes. Now, obviously, it's above freezing. This isn't going to be an issue. But here's my question for you, Amanda. Was the precipitation clear, translucent ice balls, or was it whitish, opaque, kind of soft and slushy, what we call almost like snow granules or snow pellets, if you will? Because if it was those snow pellets, I just don't think that the precipitation profile is calling for sleet. I think it was graupel, and here's why. I'll explain that. Well, first of all, let me show you what we've got as we look at our this is the wind advisory. It goes until 10 o'clock tonight. I mean, he didn't need an advisory that it was windy. Those winds were cranking up in a major way. This goes until 10 o'clock tonight, and then it'll expire. The red flag fire warning only goes for about another 16 minutes or so, as that will be dropped. Okay. Clear small balls in P Ridge. So they weren't translucent. They weren't like little snow pellets. Here's why I think it was graupel instead of sleet. Now, obviously, the temperature is getting colder, and there's a different temperature profiles in the atmosphere. But this is what I want to show you here. So we're going to talk about this. Aha, look at Thomas. He knows it was rhyming here in Farmington. Graupel for sure here. Aha. So here's the thing. This is what graupel looks like. It kind of looks like snow pellets. Kind of looks like Dippin' Dots, honestly, white Dippin' Dots. It just doesn't make sense to have sleet because in order for a sleet profile to develop, you've got to have temperatures that are below freezing at the surface. Now, you could get really cold above the surface and then it falls in a warmer layer of air that's above freezing. So it could be a mixture. But this is why I think it's graupel. And here's why. And it's not hail because hail is opaque just like graupel, only it's hard. If it was really hard, then it would be essentially small hail. But there wasn't any convection. There weren't any thunderstorms. There weren't any updrafts and downdrafts that were interacting with this. So as we look at, graupel and how it forms, this is a great example of what graupel is. So graupel is essentially a snowflake that has, and shout out to Thomas because he's talking about rhyming. Rhyming is when supercooled water collects to an object. So this snowflake is falling, and as it falls into a layer of warmer air that's above, that's a little below freezing, but it's above the ground, these tiny little droplets freeze or rime onto those snowflakes. All right. So as it rimes onto those snowflakes, it creates little tiny balls. These are like little slush balls. And then as that snowflake falls even more, it'll eventually tumble and it'll become a little snow pellet. And so they look like hail. However, the difference is that it's usually soft and slushy. So if you picked it up and it just immediately was able to be crushed, then you know that it was in fact graupel. If it wasn't easy to crush, if it was rather hard and solid ball of ice, then that would be hail. But it doesn't make sense for hail because there wasn't any convection. There wasn't any thunderstorm activity. So, okay, at Dippin' Dots. This personally, and no endorsement here on Nerds Gummy Clusters, but if you've ever had a Nerds Gummy Cluster, that is essentially just like graupel. So I described that. If you want to go to our Instagram page, you can see me describing that. So maybe it was graupel. It might have been some sleet, but why haven't we talked about graupel before? I know. It's because it's not a very common thing, but now you know. You can tell your friends, hey, we had graupel earlier today. A snow BB sounds like. That's right. It's like a little snowflake pellet, if you will. A snow BB. That's a great way to describe it. Or little Dippin' Dots. But Dippin' Dots are kind of hard. You know, you try to do that. No, we didn't have any tornado warnings, but there were in Illinois. There were a lot of confirmed tornadoes that didn't look confirmed according to the spotters. No, we don't have any tornado potential, nothing like that. So let's show you what's going on real quick and give you the details on this giant system. By the way, it was impressive. Here's a look at the system. There were blizzard warnings to the north, severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings to the east, northeast of us in Illinois, Indiana. By the way, Josh Rugger did not have a window seat, and he wasn't able to pick his seat, I guess. And there was a grumpy old man that was sitting at the window seat and put that thing down. That's my biggest pet peeve is when if you have a window seat, someone keeps the window closed. I get it. You want to sleep, but he flew from Minneapolis right over all those supercells, and he probably could have saw some really cool stuff. So this was the surface map earlier today. A giant low pressure system. And we're talking, I mean, some really, really strong winds. I'm going to clear this off of here so you can see this system. This is called wraparound precipitation. Here's all the severe weather from earlier today. I'll kind of step through this. There's confirmed tornadoes. Questionable confirmed, honestly. I saw some of the storm spotter reports, and I saw some of the streams that were right next to a confirmed tornado, and it was some dust getting kicked up. So I like to see more evidence before I really know they were, in fact, confirmed tornadoes. But there's the system moving eastward, and you still you don't have any current tornado warnings. But there's the precipitation. There were blizzard warnings earlier with this system, and now we're starting to get the low to move through. This is the wraparound. Like we said, nothing major. We're not going to get a whole bunch of stuff. Kansas City area here looks bad. Now, yeah, Kansas City is getting hit pretty hard with this band, and temperatures are a lot colder, as we'll show you. So right now, those current conditions are, they're pretty chilly. You know, that I hope so. But I'll tell you what needs to correlate. I got to finish my bracket. I haven't finished a bracket yet, and I've got the T-minus little over 2 hours. 11 o'clock is when they close the door on the brackets. Here's Cooper Elementary and Bella Vista. It shows like just a little bit of precipitation that's falling, but let's look at those temperatures. I mean, it's 34 in Rogers, 37 in Fayetteville. So some pretty cold weather. I'll tell you what, graupel happened in Ball Walker Stadium, and the Razorbacks destroyed Oral Roberts today. That was a great victory. And you let me know. What do you guys have? You have Kansas winning the first round, or do you have Arkansas winning? Because I Kansas, I saw them play, and I know Arkansas is just it's you never know what team you're going to get. Tiny ice balls earlier in Hinesville, so there could have been some little sleet mixed in. Dawn, you gotta let me know. Were they crushable? Were you able to pick them up and kind of squash them with your fingers? Look at these wind chills here. My goodness, come on. 23 in Rogers right now, and it feels like 28 in Fayetteville. It's cold. I hope you have the jacket for this afternoon and evening. Now, we mentioned how that wind chill and the temperature was going to drop. You could barely see them. Now, remember, that graupel's still going to bounce off your windshield. It doesn't just get totally. Yeah, not really, though. That's what the ESPN app says. However, they said I has to be done at 11 o'clock tonight, so I'll just get it done. Is it sleet or is it graupel? Now it might actually be sleet because it's getting colder aloft. But let's look at the radar. Let's check it out. Today is your birthday. You're 36. That's awesome. Well, congratulations. That's super awesome. Oh, the days of being 36 again. As Randy Travis says with the old Opry special, I'm an old man and I'm still talking about the weather. So here's the future track. As long as old men still talk about the weather, here I am still talking about it. We're looking at temperatures tomorrow morning beginning in the lower 30s. And golly, look at that wind chill. Upper teens, lower 20s, northwesterly winds. Now, it will warm up a little bit. Clouds will clear slowly during the late morning into the afternoon. The wind is crazy, and it was crazy. In fact, look at these gusts. Some of these gusts are outrageous. So 51 miles per hour, Diana. 44 miles per hour in Bentonville, and nearly 50 miles per hour at XNA. In fact, I don't know if any of you were watching and you were on a flight, a SkyWest flight, but there was supposed to be a flight that landed in XNA from Houston. It circled around, tried to land twice. The crosswinds were more than what the plane would allow. And so they had to fly back around and then fly home. Hey, Drew, that's what someone told me. 11 o'clock tonight. I think he's telling me because he doesn't want me to be a procrastinator. He might be pulling my chain a little bit. Yeah, I bet. Motion sickness. It was blowing around pretty good. So here's the wind gusts across the area, 51 miles per hour. And by the way, that's another thing too. So Zach and Peyton aren't here, but you got to say miles per hour instead of mile per hour winds. And you got to say miles per hour instead of miles an hour. And what's weird is if I don't say that properly, they make me do push-ups. I guess it's good practice. Miles per hour. It just sounds so weird when you say it. But miles per hour is what you mean. Made it fun for driving home in NWAC. Yeah, there was quite a bit of dust and the air quality was bad, but now it's good. So everybody's okay there. Let's take a look at the radar here real quick. We'll look at the current radar, and then I'll look at the long range forecast, and then I'll have to go because I have to get ready for Fox. But here's what you got. Let's see here. Someone trying to make a love connection on here. All right, let's go to the radar, and we'll take a look at this. So here's the precipitation that's wrapping around. Notice how it's not fully filled in. So we knew this wouldn't be a major, wraparound precipitation event, but it still has a little bit in there. We'll throw up the radar so you can see that as well. And there's a look at the snow that's coming down near crosses. So some pretty decent snow falling. And south of Huntsville, Japton, St. Paul, Winslow. That's the area that's picking up the most. Everything else is kind of dry, but it'll fill in a little bit more. So I think we'll still see more. Yeah. Stephen Smith says, I want our 60s back. Golly. I mean, come on. That was like a quick hitting cold blast that happened. By the way, spring starts officially at 4:01 tomorrow morning. All right, here's the 2-day forecast timeline just to give you the update. So tonight we're going to fall right around the lower 30s. Then we climb into the mid 50s. Then we get into the mid 60s. However, it's going to be windy again, just to let you know. Friday afternoon, more winds cranking up. This will be a south wind. Precipitation will be moving out of here pretty quick, too. We get into the 70s in the river valley. And then the long range forecast, it's just been so gosh darn active. Look at this massive weather system that moved through. This is pretty typical of La Nina, where you get these systems. After that moves out, which will be nice. Friday morning will start off fairly light winds, but Friday afternoon, those winds pick up. Here comes the next weather system. That will not bring precipitation because we have too dry of an atmosphere. Here comes the next one, though, Saturday night into Sunday. A little bit of subtle energy, enough where it could fire off some thunderstorms. Now, as of now, the storm activity looks to be focused across southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, but I still think we see thunderstorms because watch this. Saturday night into Sunday morning, there you see some storms popping up. Enough energy, enough southerly flow where some of those storms could be strong to severe. And then you'll see here as we move into our Saturday night into Sunday morning, the storms start to push southeast. And then additional development, as you'll see, pops up Sunday evening. But notice how that's a little focused to the south. So it looks like this risk, once again, will be dodging us, and it will be mainly across southern Arkansas and northern Louisiana. Now, this is the day 5 outlook. Things can always change. Things can always adjust. Speaking of change, I got to go because we got to get ready for Fox. But I'll just tell you this real quick. I'll show you the 5-day forecast. This is what we've got tomorrow morning. Lower 30s for morning lows. And you had a question about the winds. We're looking at about 15 to 25 with gusts up to 35. Not quite as intense as today, but still some strong winds. And your River Valley forecast, we'll give you 7 days for that because next week is looking great. For the start of spring break here, if you're flying out, you're looking at some nice weather. And by the way, I'm going to talk about this on the news, but Peyton Langford put together a blog that has all your spring break destinations, or most of them, not all of them, but most of them. But there's a look at the River Valley. Since I showed the River Valley 7-day, I will show Northwest Arkansas 7-day, and then we'll have to shut it down as we get the countdown from Tracy, our production assistant. Oh, yeah, she's ready to go. Amazing start to spring break, some beautiful weather. We are 30 seconds out. So, Josh, what do we have coming up on tap for Fox 24 News at 9? Wildfires. Yeah. And Nerds Gummy Clusters? Nope, I guess not. All right, see you guys. Thanks for watching.